So far, I've had you explore the concept of what blended learning is and envision how you could use it in your world. But now let's dig a little deeper. As you've seen, blended learning requires that there is some element of student control over the pace, place, time, and path of their learning. These are the defining factors of what a blended learning classroom truly is. So let's start by talking about place and time. Traditionally, our students have sat in our classroom during their assigned time period, and that was when the instruction and learning would take place. If they missed a day, they needed to figure out how they would make up that time, and they would either have to wing it to figure out how the information was actually conveyed, or we'd have to come up with a time to bring them up to speed. In a blended environment, not only would they not have to ask you, what did they miss, but they'd be able to find the assignment and complete it without missing a beat. When creating a blended class, you need to determine where that hub of learning is going to be. Are you going to stick with a more traditional static website? This is a good option if you want to provide a place for remediation. Here you post your assignments, videos, and other resources so the students can revisit the resources at their own time in their own place. Safari Montage is another option for posting various media. You can create a playlist and share it with your students in a particular order so you can guide their learning from one item to another. If you want to control the pacing a little bit more, a learning management system like Google Classroom, which we've been using in this class, may be a better option for posting resources. This allows you to keep the release of the items little by little, but they can still be available later should a student want to come back and look at them. The next thing you need to consider when creating your blended learning, class is what are you going to put in your flexible environment, and what are you going to keep traditional? By that I mean, who's going to create the media? Are you going to record your own lectures, or are you going to use someone else's? Previously published materials can be a great resource, but you do want to be careful that you're the one still adding your artistry to your craft. Blended learning is not simply posting videos online and expecting the students to watch them before coming to class. That's like asking a student to read a chapter without giving them something to do with it. You'll be lucky if you get half the students to actually do that assignment. If you give them something to do with the video, a means of keeping them engaged while watching it, well, then you have a goldmine. You've probably noticed during this video that you're being asked to interact with it a little bit. I did this through a website called PlayPosit. And look for how do I do that video coming for that soon. Other elements, there's other apps that you can use to do this as well. You don't just need to post videos either. Students are just as capable of showing off what they've done and sharing it with one another as you can. You can have them create videos or other means of media and post them in various places. You can also use some of the various Google apps which will allow you to have a one-on-one interaction with your students, or you can create groups within Google Classroom or however, and those students can then collaborate on a project, a paper, a slideshow, a spreadsheet, or some other product. The nice thing about using the Google Apps options for doing this is you can actually see who's doing what part of the project as well. So in order to keep this video short enough to keep your attention, I'm going to wrap this up. In the comment sections of this post, please share some of the tools and apps that you've had experience with that you think would be something you could incorporate it into your blended classroom. It can be something that you've used as a teacher, something you know of another teacher's used, or something you've experienced on the student side, or just something you've come across and you want to try. So that's your next assignment. And please interact with each other's comments as well.